Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. And this is the 9 Minute Podcast with yours truly, Dr. Scott Packer. And we are on episode 21 of the 9 Minute Podcast. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I have to take a sip of this water in my Buc-ee's cup. My doctor said I need to drink more water. So here's a big cup of water. And I'm getting it on video, so it's all legit. I'm getting that, taking my doctor's advice. So, episode 21 of the 9 Minute Podcast, and thinking about a conversation that was had with a particular young lady that she was sharing with me about some things that she had gone through with her ex. And she said, here she is, told me her age, and she said, I already have an ex. And I thought, she meant ex-husband. So she has a divorce. And I thought to myself, I said, well, listen, everybody does. I mean, it seems to be, doesn't it? Everybody says, my ex-wife. Yeah, I got one of those too. My ex-husband. Yeah, I got one of those too. And as always, divorce is not the unpardonable sin. And it happens and people move on, and that's what relationship is about. What works, what doesn't work, and moving on. But the point is that this conversation sparked out of, I thought about personal responsibility, because she was telling me that her ex is still telling people around about the things that he said they broke up about, which was her words. She said, oh, I didn't give him enough attention. I didn't spend enough time with him. I, didn't show that I loved him. I didn't give him enough affection, and all of these things. Then she goes on to say, but you know what he's not telling anybody? She's not telling anybody about how he treated me like crap, essentially. How he screamed at me all the time. How he was mentally and verbally abusing me all the time. How that he would argue with me over and over and over and over again about things that I had already discussed, and we had discussed and put them behind us. And now he's arguing with me again and again and again, then wants to know why I don't want to be intimate with him. And she said, it's amazing to me how he wants to talk about all of these things that he said I did, but he's not talking about what he did. In other words, he's not taking personal responsibility. And so out of that conversation comes another reminder, and it's worth talking about, how personal responsibility is something that we all have to do, but so many people don't want to do it. So many people don't want to take responsibility because in our nature, the first thing we want to do is we don't want to be blamed for anything. We don't want to be the reason for something not working out or something not happening. It comes from that mindset of always thinking we have to do things perfect. And if you are a perfectionist by nature, then it is many times hard to want to accept responsibility for something that went wrong. And we see it in real blatant ways. Watch a video or work in a place where you've seen something happen. And what happens? The person that's responsible for it wants to try to get out of there. I'm thinking about the video of the guy that's on the forklift, and he drives the forklift and he's just not paying attention. And as he goes to make a turn, he clips a column. The column comes down, and then all of the shelves come down, and all of the product that's in the warehouse comes down. And what does he do? He jumps down off the forklift and takes off running, as if that there's not some type of surveillance that catches him in the act and knows that he did it. He's immediately running from wanting to take personal responsibility. And the fact of the matter is that all of us have something in our life we have to take personal responsibility for. I mean, I look back on my life and, know the mistakes that I've made. I've been accused. It's one of those things that I heard an old college professor of mine said, I'm accused of 10 things, but I only did 9 of them. It's that I'll take responsibility for 1 through 9, but I'm not taking responsibility for number 10 because I didn't do it. But there's a lot of things, of course, I've been accused of, you've been accused of, that we didn't do. So we don't take responsibility for those. We continue to stand up and say, no, I didn't do that. But the things that we did, the mistakes we made, the error in our judgments, the, getting mad when we didn't need to, the saying things that we shouldn't have, those things that we've done, we take responsibility for them. And I've noticed in my own life, pastoring people, counseling people, consulting and coaching with people, is that people who are willing to genuinely take responsibility for the things that they have done are the people that want to then make the changes to be the best person that they can be for the future. Yesterday, I did something wrong. I want to take responsibility of it so that I can work on it today and be a better person for my tomorrow. And I think that I know that's the kind of person that I want to be. I've had people say to me, Dr. Packer, have you ever had to apologize to somebody, especially people in the church, will say, have you had to go and apologize to people? Of course, absolutely. People in my life, my relationships, family members. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's the same way with you. If you've blown it, you have no one else to blame. And you can only pass the blame so far. It's like hot potato. You hold it and you toss it. You hold it and you toss it. You hold it and but eventually the potato, goes off. And the timer's up. And you're hoping you can keep passing the blame and it doesn't go off in your hands. But when you're responsible for it, you can't make changes without taking personal responsibility. And I think a lot of people don't take responsibility because they have no design to ever make changes in their life and be a better person. And taking personal responsibility is not just going, oh yeah, I did it, sorry, and then you go on. Personal responsibility is, I did it, I apologize for it, I've got to work on me so that this doesn't happen again. And being a better person is not an easy task. The hardest job that you will ever work on is when you work on yourself to be a better person. So personal responsibility is something we all have to do. Thanks for joining me on the 21st episode of the 9 Minute Podcast. I'll see you on the next one.